It's more about you being able to like watch it back later. So I started the recording. So did you have a game that you wanted to go over? Right. So you were last pick on your team. Um, what made you think this was a good Oracle game? I'm gonna start screen sharing. Um, I mean, it's alright. I usually look at Oracle more for the purge than I do for the magic prevent and the disarm. Um, in this game, you guys don't have that great of lockdown. Like Nyx can stun, but that's not very reliable. Um, and it's only one stun, and that's all your lockdown. Um, so I'd probably look at something that's more lockdown. Maybe something like a witch doctor would be good because it's gonna be stunning a lot of people instead of just one, and the coconut will be enough of a setup for the Nyx to land his stun, and then it's gonna stun a bunch of people too. Um, who else would have been good? Really, like a lion or a shadow shaman even would have been fine, but it's fine. Um, let's do Skype because I think that shit's gonna pop up and be annoying. Um, in the middle of the video for you. Usually you want to give your mid tangos, but Invoker started with his own, so it's fine. Um, I don't like this ward at all. Like it's gonna be nice for like right now, but like one over here would just be so much better for the next 7 minutes. Um, and this ward is kind of just like even worse than this ward because um, the amount of people that this is gonna catch that this isn't also gonna catch is very low. But this will also give you this the rune vision and then vision over here. So unless they're like running this way, this ward isn't better than this ward. Um, so this is a bad ward because it's strictly worse than another ward, but it's also bad because you don't want either of these wards. You'd much rather have a lane ward. Um, but if you have any questions, just type it out and I'll try and answer it. Or if you need me to explain anything better. And you should be trying to block here. One sec. And this is kind of like you had a minute and a half um, to set up your quick buy, but I think right now I think you're setting up your quick buy instead of typing. You could have done this like in the minute and a half before the game started. But it's good that you're actually doing this. Most of my students don't. And that's usually like the first mistake I point out. Here, there's no reason that you couldn't just, like, be standing, like, right here, auto-attacking the guys. Like, if you're right here, you're gonna, after every swing, you're gonna fall back into fog, so at most they're gonna get one right-click back on you. But, like, you'll be able to get a lot of, like, you could probably get 5 or 6 hits on her, and she'll get 1 hit on you over here. And instead, you're just kind of, like, standing around, actually not accomplishing anything. And that was just literally a waste of mana. It does 90 damage, and it's 110 mana, so just casting it as a nuke is horrible. Not only that, but you're also going to be hitting the range creep, which is going to slightly push the lane. If this takes any damage, then it's going to easily fall into deny range. And then they can deny it, and then your lane will be pushing towards their tower, which makes it a lot harder for you guys to do what you want to do. And here I'd be like, alright, they're not really harassing me at all. I'm going to give this Jug one of my tangos. Because you have 5 and you have a mango, so you're passively regenning and all that. And now he's out of tangos, and all he has left is a salve. So you might as well, like, would you agree that the regen's much more important on the carry than the support? Well, if you did it sooner, yeah, if you did it sooner, you'd probably be able to get, like, because it's a 1 minute cooldown, so every minute you wait is a minute, or is a single tango that you, like, can't really give him anymore. And you're just kind of, like, casting your spells, but not actually doing anything with them. Like, when you nuke her here, it actually ends up healing her, because it heals for more damage, or heals for more than it damages. Just, like, by stat-wise, but the damage is also magic resisted. So, yeah. And then, like, all of the spells that you're casting seem to be just, like, impulse. Like, you're casting this as a nuke, you're casting this as a nuke, and you're casting them separate. If you want them to do damage, you have to cast this one and then this one. The ideal use versus the 3 being here is not using anything and not going up there. Like, why not just run the way that the Windrunner is? Because now it's a 3v1 instead of, it would have been at worst a 1v1. And you can purge off her haste, so it's like, she can right click you some, but she's not going to kill you. The only way you die is if you run into the other 2 and her. And there, I would have bought your 2 branches so that you could make your stick at the side shop without using the courier. Or actually, you have it. So you could just upgrade your wand there. And I don't like that ward. The only reason that's fine now is because the trees are down, but trees respawn every 5 minutes, so in probably 4 minutes, a lot of the vision from this ward is going to be obstructed by this tree regrowing. Usually you just want to place it like here. Here you... do you kill her, actually? Nice. One little thing that you can do with this hero is you can cast your Q on her, and then immediately press E after, so you cancel your channeling of your Q with the cast animation of your E. And if they're like not in melee range, your E will hit and then your Q projectile will hit, because your E is instant. So if you're what you do here is you do this and then you Q. But that healed her for 22. Whereas if you press the Q and then cancel it with the E, it doesn't heal her at all. Yeah, it's pretty cool. But they recently put in the thing that you have to use stop command to channel. And I turned that on, and then I played this guy, and it fucking sucked because I couldn't do that anymore. And that's just, like, you're casting so many spells that just don't do anything. And, like, you used your clarity on him, which is fine. But now you can only cast one more spell. And, like, the spells you've been casting have been doing nothing, except for when you killed the Medusa. I'd say probably, like, 3 or 4 out of the 10 spells you've casted have done anything. Also, if nobody on your team is making an urn, it's very good on this hero. The mana regen is, like, retarded on it. They didn't nerf it at all when they did the change to regen. So if you look at the gold cost, and then you look at the mana regen, and then you look at the gold cost, and you look at the mana regen, for 25 more gold than Voidstone, you get all the rest of urn, aside from the mana regen. And then it's doubly good on Oracle, because it's actually like 3 times as good as on Oracle. Because not only does it double heal on your False Promise, but it allows you to actually earn in the middle of a team fight. Like, if you earn somebody, and then they go in and fight, it'll last like 2 seconds. But this makes it last the full 8 seconds, and it doubles the amount that it heals. So it's very good on this guy. And you have pretty decent int gain, so the mana regen solves a lot of your problems. I think maybe going Urn and then Mana Boots is the play. But it's definitely nice to have. And it also upgrades now. And you can get a casual Windlace after making Urn, because it can make Spirit Vessel later on, which is really good on Oracle. Here I'd be giving him... I would have gave him the Tango. For sure. Because, like, if you have to go... lol. If you have to go back to base, so what? If your Jug has to go back to base, that's, like, your carry not getting farm. So it's actually a huge deal. And, like, he dies to a offlane Medusa. Which probably wouldn't have happened if he was regenning up. But it was still, like, he shouldn't have died. And a lot of this time, you could just be, like, pulling the small camp. Like, what's stopping you from doing that right now? And the main way that Jug's taking damage is from Snake, and she's not going to throw a Snake without a creep wave there, because she's not going to get any mana back from it. She needs to hit a hero and a range creep for it to be worth it. But if a Jug's just alone under the tower, she can't really do it. Yeah, when you think about polling, think about, like, there's a lot of things to think about with it, actually. It's pretty hard to sum it up in a sentence, but it's kind of like, in this situation, your Jug's going to be taking less damage, tanking creeps under the tower, and you're, like, not doing anything anyways. So, not only is it safer for him to farm, but you're also going to get farm, and the Medusa isn't going to get farm. And there's two heroes that are just gonna not be doing anything if you pull. And that was a lot of time to heal him. You spent like an entire minute to cast one Purifying Flames on him. Like, if he's just not letting you heal him, just like, don't. Like, he's fine. And I think you can even cast it right now. I could be wrong though. While he's spinning. Got you. And another thing to consider is if you have 2 points in this, you can Purifying Flames twice without hurting your team. Because the the cast animation for this is like 0.4 seconds or some shit like that. So when you have 2 points in this, you can cast both of them with your cast animation. And this doesn't really like... No, it's level 2. And neither of these really scale that well. Like, this is really just the cooldown gets reduced. Like, what's 90 more damage on a single nuke for 3 points at 13 minutes onwards gonna do? So this is really just the cooldown, and the cooldown like doesn't get like the last point isn't like amazingly better than all the other ones. And like it right now you're just kind of like spending 2 minutes not doing anything. If you placed this ward like here, you'd be able to just leave and go help somebody else and like kill the Elder Titan or something. But also Oracle's Q takes off her win run, so you actually have a lot of kill potential on her. But yeah, you wasted 2 wards and your Juggernaut's still not that safe. Whereas if you just put a ward here, you would see like 95% of the rotations they're gonna send to the Jug. And you don't need to be there because the Jug's just gonna like, oh shit, they TP'd 3 people here. I'm gonna go farm the jungle. So like all of this is just a waste of time. You wasted like 4 minutes when you could be like killing people. See, there you go. But now you have 3 wards, and only... Like, this ward accomplishes all that both of these wards accomplish. Does that make sense? Or you could even just wait for the... You can even just... Like, Juggernaut's jungling here a lot. You could be in lane, last hitting creeps, push it up, and then when it's up here, just like go this way and place it. And that would be fine. And then you can just fucking leave. You don't need to smoke or anything fancy, especially when they show 3 people bottom. The only thing that you're gonna run into is a Medusa. What's she gonna do to you? Like stone gauge you to death? No, you just walk away from her. So a lot of, like, your 10 to 16 minutes was just wrong. You kind of just, like, stayed when you didn't need to, and you could have just warded and left. Do you have any questions so far? Very good. And usually you want to place the most aggressive lane, the most aggressive wards that you can get away with that are useful. And this one's kind of like very defensive. Like, if you placed this ward, it would do the same things. Because this is going to catch this avenue and this avenue. So the only way that this is going to catch something is if they go like this way or that way, which is like very slim. But this is also going to catch like all of this. So a lot of your wards are just kind of like, you need to be trying to do more with your wards than what you are doing. Like, this probably did absolutely nothing the entire time it was up. But this ward, like, immediately is just fucking amazing. Do you have any questions about, like, warding better, or do you want me to just keep pointing out specific examples? And this is where I'd be looking to get an aggressive ward, probably. Like, if you could get this one, it'd be really good. Because with this tower down, they lose control of a lot of their map. Oh, you do? And then... Gotcha. Yeah, we can look at that. So you got both of them off there, and that was the level 2 one. I mean, a lot of it's kind of fine, and we can talk about a fight. It's usually a lot more complicated though, so I usually skip over it unless there's something that's like obvious. So to start this out, I probably wouldn't have used my ult on him. I would have just used Fate's Edict. Like, yeah, he's shackled, but he's not really getting right-clicked too much. Like, Fate's Edict would have been just as good there. And then I'd definitely be channeling that longer. I guess it ends up being fine. And this is where you would want to throw out your nuke, or cancel your Q with your nuke on this Medusa, so you do the extra nuke damage. And then of course staring at her too long is bad. No, you can just press Q and then cast E on her, and the E will cancel the Q. You don't have to press stop unless you have the setting on. And then here, a little thing that you could do is nuke the Invoker. That might wake him up, I'm not 100% sure. And then here, you're just kind of like, I don't want to go back in, because you had your ult, or his ult on you. So that's fine. Did you have any more questions about that fight? Because I think that's pretty much covers that fight. Okay. And that just sucks. You put a ward right into a sentry. One thing is though, you could have denied it, because that's 100 gold. The Venomancer just gets 100 gold for this, when you could have denied it right here. I probably also would have put that ward here, because you're probably not going to be taking Roche too soon. This ward is good for scouting the enemies when they rotate to take Roche when you have this tower down, because they're probably going to come from here or from here and go this way. And that's when this ward is better than this one. But this one's better. When they don't do that, this one's a lot better, because it just gives you all of this vision. Which makes, like, your side a lot safer. I don't know if that makes sense or not. Yeah, the vision here is more important than the vision here, unless they're rotating to take Roche or defend Roche or whatever. I think Urn is even better than Glimmercape in this situation. Because Urn is 800 heal, and it gives you a lot of mana regen, and you can use it to kill people. And like in situations like this, you could, instead of like using all your mana to heal somebody, you could just throw an Urn charge on them. And this right here, you should definitely be ulting your Invoker, like, right, probably now. And then healing them. Or, like, even right now. Or, like, ult your PL. That's the second time that you've let Medusa ult you. And that's really just... all you have to do in fights is, like, cast a spell, turn away. Cast a spell, turn away. So there, you shouldn't be looking at her for 2 seconds in a row. So that's just kind of like playing it wrong. And that was just like, they weren't even going on him and you cast your ult. Something to consider is when you disarm somebody and then you cast your Q, it takes it off. So you shorten the duration of the disarm by rooting him here. Yeah, a little bit. I was kind of thinking that you probably want like this ward more over here, so it catches over here and over here some. It might not catch somebody here, but like creeps can give you this vision, but if you put it up here, it'll catch a little bit more. Alternative to the cliff is like here or there. It's fine that you warded it. It's just I think the PA saw you while you were warding it, so they immediately de-warded, and that's just kind of like if somebody sees you, don't drop a ward. Another thing to consider with warding is if you ever get like 3 wards or something, it's oftentimes really good to smoke up with your team and go place wards. Because if you smoke up with wards as opposed to... It's mostly a smoke thing more than it is a ward thing. If you smoke and you go look for kills, and you don't find kills, you wasted a smoke, which is an 11-minute cooldown, or 10-minute, I don't remember. And then you also wasted all of the time of whoever went with you. But if you went with wards, at the very least, you get good deep vision. So if you ever plan to smoke up, check if you have any wards first. And this is you're just kind of like forgetting that you have a Glimmer Cape. And when you ult, you usually just want to immediately edict yourself. Well, I guess it's on cooldown. But even if you Purifying Flames at the start, it does, which I guess you do. Lol. But yeah, you definitely should have Glimmered right away. And then you probably could have, like, ran down and TP'd out, and they wouldn't have seen you. Dude, this fucking sucks. They have sentries everywhere, and you're placing wards right on top of their wards. This is just kind of like unfortunate. I think we're gonna get about as much out of this replay as... Or I think we got as much out of this replay as we're going to. I think... Yeah. Well, it's just kind of like the rest of the shit's just gonna be like effects of what we've already talked about. And I don't like your build. I think the Urn would be really good. The Glimmer's fine. I just would have got Urn first. I don't like the Aether Lens. Because it's just like, you can just position better. Like, they're not going to kill you. They don't have a lineup that's going to kill you if you're positioned well. And Aether Lens lets you position further back, but you don't really need that this game. You just need to be, like... let's say your carry's like fighting right here. You can just like stand here. You don't need to. They don't have a lineup where the difference between here and here is anything. I would have probably went Spirit Vessel and Glimmer Cape. But did you have another replay? Because I think this one's kind of spent. I don't have any of Oracle, but I can show you that thing. Replays delete after like a week. I used to have a bunch of them, but they were all older than a week old. So I just cast the Q on this guy, and then I press E on him right after, and then the projectile doesn't land until my E's casted. So the projectile will still be in the air, even though I canceled it with the E. We can actually try that real quick. Fuck. Yeah, so it's about this distance. And they'll usually be running away. So, like, if he's this distance away and he starts running away, you're probably fine. Let me try that real quick. Yeah. So he was like here when I started it, but he was running away, so it gave me the extra time. So as long as they're not within like 400 of you and running at you, it's usually fine. But yeah, I want to show you the second point in the W. So with 1 point in it, I'm gonna spam the, oh shit, I have free spells on, lol. see it's right after, and I take the damage for it. But if I get the level 2 one, I can get the second one in, and I don't take any damage from it. So the second point in this is really good. But like this doesn't scale that well. The damage doesn't change. Like the damage doesn't matter at all, because by that time you're gonna get like from level 13 or from 13 minutes to like 19 minutes. You're gonna max this, and 90 damage over the course of those 6 minutes does nothing. It's more about the cooldown, which is like not that big of a deal. I would say go like, one sec, let me just show you. You want this at level 8, and then you can kind of go from there. Like if they have an Ursa or some shit, this might be better to get, because when you have it maxed, it's up half the time, whereas if you only have 2 points in it, it's only up like 30% of the time or something like that. Or even less than that. It's more like 25, 28. But if they have like a Windrunner, you might want to like max this sooner, or Invoker, because you can take off like Cold Snap, shit like that. It's really just, would I rather have magic immunity and disarm, or would I rather purge people more often? That's like what your decision should be from here. So do you have any questions about Oracle specifically, aside from what we've gone over? Good matchups. Oracle counters the shit out of Darkseer. Because Darkseer just puts his shell on the creep wave and you just nuke it off. And then there goes his farming mechanic. Heroes that he's good with, definitely the main one that pops out is Huskar. Because you can just like ult him when he's low and he's fine. Aside from that, the synergies aren't too obvious. I like OD because you want to cast a lot of spells, and your spells are decently cheap, and you have a decent mana pool because you're gonna have mana boots. So an OD on your team allows you to like spam your shit out. One thing to look for with Oracle though is he doesn't have any good, like, his crowd control isn't the greatest. So you want something that makes up for that. Like I used to think, oh, Wisp and Oracle would be fucking awesome because you can just the Oracle Wisp has a problem where yeah, it's like you nuke the Wisp, which drops his health low enough that he can start healing your team. So it's you're healing the Wisp, and then you're healing the Wisp target 1.5, so your heals do 2.5 the healing, but it's like you don't have any fucking stuns. So it's usually you want to make up, you want your other support to have like a good amount of crowd control to make up for it. And then like aside from that, like Weaver does pretty well with them. Like heroes that are very mobile and like slippery do well, because those heroes die when they get caught, but you just fucking ult them and they're not caught anymore. Who else would be good? Jug's pretty good because healing ward. Luna's pretty good because she gets Mask of Madness and she can heal up a bunch. PA's pretty good because she likes to go in hard. Lifestealer's decent. Yeah, that's about it. The main thing is just having lockdown, because Oracle severely lacks it. Like his root is a 2.5 disable, but you have to be channeling it the full time, which you don't really want to be doing. And like they can blink out of it, or they BKB, or like it's just not good enough for catch. Like if you see somebody walking and you're like, oh, let's fucking jump on this axe, and then it's like, alright, he's rooted for half a second, good job. But yeah, so do you have any more questions about him? We're at the 45 minute, so if you don't have another replay, we could cut it here and then do, I don't think he's not a great first pick. Because he's very punishable in lane. If they like duel off lane, you can't really do anything until like level 3 or 4. So, and you want heroes that like do well with you. Like you want to pick Oracle for a reason. You don't want to just pick it to pick it. Like a Shadow Shaman, you can do that, or Dazzle, you can do that, or CM, you can kind of do that. You want to pick them more for an actual reason rather than, oh, let's just fucking first pick them. So did you want to call it here, or because you don't have any more replays and we have like 15 minutes left? Alright, that's fine. Or if you want to, here, I'll stop the recording and start uploading it. If you want to, you could even go through